What's good, people? It's your boy, Clan the Spurs fan, here again with another video. Um, like I said earlier, I wanted to get on here and talk really fast about tanking because I've been seeing a lot of comments, and it's very divided. It seems like it's very divided amongst fans as far as should the San Antonio Spurs tank or not. Now, I don't know if we have different definitions of tanking and what tanking is, but a lot of people a lot of people say that we should tank. There's a few people that says we shouldn't, which I see way more we shoulds than shouldn't. And tanking to me is just giving up, purposely losing to try your best to get a good draft pick, which we should know in this day and age that is not guaranteed at this point that you could be a really high draft pick and just from tanking. But I say all that to say this. I am of the belief, now this is just me, I know everybody has their own opinions, but this is just my opinion right here. I don't believe you should ever purposely lose, ever. I think that when it comes to like even life in general, I don't think that you should purposely give up. I feel like if the San Antonio Spurs right now just committed to trying to win this season, no matter what, we're going to try our best, we're going to try to win. If they just committed to that, I don't think you lose in the long run. Because I feel like as long as you try your best with anything, and that goes for sports as well, as long as you try your best, I think the odds will be in your favor regardless. So and what I mean by that, I'll say it like this. I think this is a better way of putting it, and I actually said this in the group chat the other day as well. I feel like if you don't give up and you try your best, I think this could end in two ways. Either one, you can lose anyway. So you can lose, you tried your best, you can lose, and you don't make the playoffs. You get a high draft pick. It is what it is, right? Possibly get a really high draft pick, right? But at the same time, while you're doing that, you were allowing the young players to fight for that position to see how hard and difficult it is to get into the playoffs. All right? Or you can make the playoffs, and then you have the young guys getting experience in the playoffs. You got Lonnie Walker getting experience in the playoffs. You got Derek White getting experience. You got DeJounte getting experience. And DeJounte been in the playoffs a few times, but you let them get experience, right? And they get experience. Who knows what can happen? I'm not that crazy about how the West is. I know it's tough, trying to get into the playoffs, but the records in the West are not that great. So who knows what can happen? So I think either way, you're in a good position. Now, one team that I do want to highlight on, because I'm from Memphis, okay? I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. A lot of people don't know that. And I don't want to say my second team because I don't really have a second team, but a team that I do look at often just because, they're from my hometown, is the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm going to tell you about the Memphis Grizzlies, okay? I've seen a lot of Memphis Grizzly games. That team never tanked. Never. Last season, they played their ass off every single game. I watched them. They played their ass off. They never looked like they were trying to purposely lose, ever. They always had fight. And now that fight that they had last season is paying off this season because they didn't make the playoffs last year, and they ended up getting Ja Morant. No one expected them to get Ja. They ended up getting Ja Morant, and now you see where it's paying off. You see that they got the talent. You see that they have heart. You see that they're tough. If they would have just gave up last season and said, hey, we're just going to go for the pick and he's just going to save us, they wouldn't be the same team. They wouldn't have those fighters. They wouldn't be fighting for a spot right now. They wouldn't look this good. But because they kept fighting, and because they never tanked, that's why they look the way they look right now. So I'm of the belief, this is just my opinion, I don't think in any situation ever you purposely lose. Ever. I feel like no matter what, you should fight to the bitter end. Now, if you sit some players, I guess that's kind of tanking, but I think that no matter what, I think you should fight to the end. That's just me. Like, for instance, I give some self-disclosure here. I used to, when I went to University of Memphis, I used to work at a pharmacy, and I was planning on trying to go to school to be a pharmacist, but stuff went down. I was like, I don't really care for this anymore. I wanted to change my path. But even though I didn't want to be there anymore, I never just quit. I never just was like, I just don't want to be here anymore. I'm just gonna, half-ass do my job. No, I worked hard every single time I was in there. I tried my best. And even though that didn't work out, I'm not there anymore. I didn't go into pharmacy at all. Even though that didn't work out, I still have people like coworkers that I can talk to today, and I have a pharmacist that I can talk to today that will help me no matter what. She's actually sent recommendation letters for me in a heartbeat. They got my back. So I feel like good things will come out of trying. That's just me. I don't think that you should ever not try. I don't think in any situation. And I think when it comes to the NBA, just go out there and fight. If you lose, I feel like if you're gonna get a lottery pick, it was meant to be anyway. You're not gonna force it. And when I look at teams like the difference between the Grizzlies and the Knicks are the ones that tank all the time. They tank all the time. And oftentimes they have losers in that organization, in that front office, and playing on their team. They have losers. Everybody's a loser in that franchise. But then when you look at the Memphis Grizzlies, they want to win. And that will to win and that trying every single time, it works out at the end. So I just feel like, I don't think as Spurs fans, just my personal belief, I don't think we should focus on our team tanking. I don't think we should focus on wanting to tank. It's just cheer them on and say fight to the end, keep fighting, and if it don't work out, cool. We fought, and we know what this team is capable of. We know that they will fight if you fight. Now, if you fight and make the playoffs, then just try to make the best out of it. And even if we don't get that high draft pick, let's say we make the playoffs and don't get that high draft pick that we all want, it's not guaranteed in the draft that you get a Tim Duncan. All right? It's not guaranteed. But unless, what am I trying to say? At least, that's what I'm trying to say. At least we getting the experience. At least the young guys are getting the experience that they've been in the playoffs. They've seen what it's like to fight in the playoffs. And we look good. And I'll say this also. Just because it's a high draft pick doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to revamp or change your franchise or make it 10 times better. Manu Ginobili, in my opinion, I know he always had Tim Duncan, but Manu Ginobili, in my opinion, I feel like Manu could have changed the franchise. The amount of skill that he had, the determination he had, it was Kobe level of willpower. Kobe has been quoted many times that he hated going against Manu, just hated it. So I think that you can find the diamond in the rough. We are very good at the draft. If we get a high draft pick, of course we'll get a good player. We'll know what we're doing, but we're really good in the draft. So let's see what these young guys can do before we start just saying, oh, we need another player to save us. Manu Ginobili was what? You guys can tell me in the chat. I think, was he 57 in the draft, right? Wasn't he 57th, second round, 57th pick? Do you know what the first overall draft pick was? It was Elton Brand. Yeah. So I think that we all can agree that Manu Ginobili had a better career. So all I'm saying is it's not all about the number 1 overall draft pick or even the top 5 draft picks. It can help tremendously. Don't get me wrong. You know, you have Zion and John Morant, but it's not guaranteed. But what is guaranteed and what you can force to be guaranteed is that you try to win every single game. You can always try that. That is something that cannot fail. What can fail is purposely tanking, giving the impression to the players that we're tanking because you're not good enough. Yes, purposely lose. And, you know, it's a toss-up whether or not this player that we get is going to revamp the franchise or remain healthy or, you know, be the next Tim Duncan. Or, I mean, I'm not saying you have to be the next Tim Duncan, but you know what I'm saying. You know, be the next great Spurs player. It's not guaranteed. Somebody brought to my attention at the last 3, I mean, don't get me wrong, we're really good with draft picks, but we win a lot. So we don't get a lot of high draft picks. And we've only had 3 super high draft picks, which were Tim Duncan, I believe Iceman, and David Robinson. I mean, I could be wrong, but he told me 3. So those are 3 that I'm thinking of. Oh, was it Sean Elliott? It was Sean Elliott? Oh. Okay. Well, hey, you guys correct me. That's fine. But yeah, I'm just saying that, you know, draft picks aren't just guaranteed. But what is guaranteed is going out there and fighting. And tanking is not the same type of tanking it was years ago, guys. It's not the same. You can be 9th pick and have just a good chance of getting the first overall draft pick than someone who just tanked. So why not just fight? Why not just fight? So that's my thoughts on it. You should say this in the group chat. I did say it in the group chat, but you know that's just my thoughts on it. I understand that you know we all want the best for the Spurs. We all want them to do well. We all want them to be successful. But I just don't. Me personally, I don't believe tanking is the way to go. I believe no matter what, you should fight. And if it doesn't work out, hey, at least you went out swinging. But I never been in agreement of that. And if anybody that wants to come in here and say that we tanked for Tim Duncan, that is not what happened. David Robinson was the San Antonio Spurs. He got injured. All right? Unless we purposely injured David Robinson, I mean, that's what happened. He got injured. And when he got injured, then we were screwed for the whole season. So that's what happened. They never tanked. They fought no matter what. Even that team fought. They just weren't good enough. So, hey, if it's meant to be, it'll happen. All right? If it's meant for us to get a high draft pick, it'll happen. And what's guaranteed is if you fight. Keep trying to win. I feel like it'll work out. You'll be all right. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get off. I appreciate you coming through. I'm going to start on that what did I say? That podcast. I'm going to start on that. I'm actually really looking forward to that. That should be pretty fun. But yeah, I'm pulling up now. But I'm going to give it to you guys later. I appreciate all the love. Please leave a comment on what you think. Do you think the Spurs should tank? And until next time, deuces.